Hi, thank you for your interest in Rocky Mountain Cannabis Consulting's launch kit. In this demo, I'm going to detail all of the assets, products, and services that are included within RMCC's launch kit. First, I'd like to show you how RMCC is organized. What we are looking at here is RMCC's internal dashboard. Before we enter any new cannabis market, we always do our compliance research. And we are currently in 17 different states, and within these states, we'll take a look at how RMCC is organized for consistency and sustainable compliance across the board. If we look into the California folder, you're going to see a few different things such as assets, our compliance guide, packaging and labeling guide, also packaging and labeling checklists. If we go into our compliance guide, this is one of the first assets that you receive within the launch kit. Within the compliance guide, you will see that it's updated live time, and at the bottom, there is different buckets breaking down the regulations. Within each one of these buckets, you will see the statute with a hyperlink to the regulations, the statute language, everyday language, and what license type this regulation code applies to. You will also notice multiple comments throughout the document. This is because our Chief Compliance Officer or our Technical Compliance Officer will go through and update this document. And when they go through and update this document, they will actually label what the date is they added that requirement and the type of action, whether it was added, removed, or amended. We also have a color key in here, so anything that is recently updated will be a light green, anything that is amended will be light yellow, and anything that is recently removed will be a light red. And we do remove these colors about 90 days after they've been implemented into the document, which again, this is near live time in reporting and amending these documents. I also like to show how the launch kit is organized and how we stay on top of all of the deliverables, tasks, and clearly communicate what the status is of the project. RMCC view, we actually have a budget up here, so we can always see how much of the launch kit was used very easily. We also have different sections within this project, and as a launch kit client, you would receive access to the Asana project. Here's all of the onboarding steps where we gather all of the contacts and better understand who needs access to the compliance guides, who needs access to the online training, and any other additional relevant documents or other ways of communication will be through the onboarding process in this section. The next section is the virtual consultation, where we will detail if we have weekly meetings, if you reach out via ad hoc meetings for needing meetings or emails, or if we have a Slack channel. When you Slack us, we also record all of those tasks and all of those times under each one of these parent tasks. The next section is the assessment. So this is the on-site assessment where we will come on site to better understand your compliance, your operations, inventory control, and record retention. We use a Simplify checklist, but we also have our own very robust checklist that we use on areas that Simplify does not cover, specifically targeting questions on the operation, record retention, and your traceability platform or any third-party solution that you are utilizing. Here's where the details are for on-site training and where we record our time here. And then here's all of our roadmap documents as well. And what you'll also see is over here on the right-hand side, we have all these different drop downs to clearly articulate what is the highest priority and what stage of development all of these different tasks are in. And then finally, once when we have delivered your entire roadmap, we have done the on-site assessment, all of your on-site training. You have also completed all of your virtual consultation and we have delivered our compliance plan for you. We will also do a closing presentation detailing any roadblocks, what your wins were, and best next steps. A lot of times our launch kit clients like to engage in a biannual or quarterly on-site assessment to ensure that they are maintaining the operations of the infrastructure we have already built through the launch kit process. Now let's take a look at the additional assets within the launch kit. Within the launch kit, depending on the tier, you will receive 5 to 15 seats for the online training platform. And we actually discount these seats by 65%. And the reason for that is because we want you to utilize this platform. We want your entire team to digest all of these materials and really become an expert in inventory control, compliance, and overall record retention. Within the course, there are quite a few different subscription services. Again, this is only a one-time fee, so you will not be charged for the subscription prices that you see here. Automatically, you will get access to the retainer exclusive course for our retainer clients only or our launch kit clients. And so no one else has access to this unless if you are an RMCC retainer client. And as you can see, we have multiple different flows across the supply chain, how to handle seeds, how to handle clones and cuttings, manufacturing, and then also additional material for all license types. Another course that you'll get access to is our microdoses course. And within these microdoses, you will get a new dose every week, and we are adding very frequently to this list. So right now, we have about 3 months of information here alone, and we have about 25 more courses in development to add to the microdoses subscription. Next is our RMCC one-hitters, which is on-the-job how-tos. And so these courses are a little bit more robust, and they last anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes for each one of the courses. And we do add more courses to this subscription frequently. And you will get this every other week to every month is a new course that will be released. And as we can see, we have beginner, how to prepare for metric. We also have a really powerful ghost weight course and what the impacts of every cannabis business really needs to know, centered around ghost weight, the causes, the solutions, how your third-party solution could actually be the root cause as to why you're having ghost weight in your metric. Also, source and solve retail metric discrepancies, life cycle of the cannabis plant, so a really nice view of explaining what a plant tag is, what a harvest batch is, what a package tag is, and then going down into downstream operations. And then finally, the most detailed course, which is RMCC's Rise and Grind metric flows. These are released every month. And these courses can last anywhere from an hour upwards of 2 hours. And we have retail centric, we also have introductory to metric, more of an expert metric best practices by RMCC. We also have some additional partnered webinars with some of our technology partners we added into the subscription course. And then also the audit course, which is a really big hit and a bunch of best practices that new metric or even veteran metric users don't even know about. And then, of course, distribution. We can't forget about that bottleneck in the supply chain. And this is a very great course as well, detailing all of the metric responsibilities, RMCC's daily, weekly, and monthly best practices, and how to build your auditing team, which is super crucial for your success and why you're probably interested in a RMCC launch kit. In addition to the online training, virtual consultation, on-site assessment, compliance plan, and on-site training, we also provide anywhere from 3 to 25 customized documents. And these documents can include job descriptions, SOPs, KPIs, playbooks, anything and everything, you name it, even checklists and workflow diagrams that are super valuable to be used as working documents within the operation and to help shortcut those labor costs of your own team developing these documents, or maybe the compliance risk of missing really important information that's crucial for your operations compliance. So let's take a look at these. First, here we have an SOP. So the SOP is very heavy in regulatory language, and this is intended to use for the application process, but that does not mean that this could be a working document within the operation. And you're going to see a couple different things on the left-hand side. We have a guide over here, so that way you can navigate through the document really easily. We can go to policies, so that way you see all the regulations that we're covering in this SOP. Here's a high-level purpose. Here are the resources that you're going to need to be successful within this SOP. Here is all the responsibilities and the labor and the team that you will need to conduct this SOP. Any relevant definitions, and then we start breaking down the procedure. After the procedure, we then have an effectiveness criteria to verify that you did this procedure correctly. And then again, we list out all of the different references, so that way you can go and triple check our work as well. And then we end with a workflow diagram and a checklist. So this is all included in one SOP. In addition, we also have something called a playbook. And the playbook is used for a more in the operation working document. So you will notice that the structure in this document is very different. We have had clients use this for the application process, but this is more used to be used internally. And you're also going to know that every single procedure line will start with an action or a verb and tell you what you need to do directly, rather than having all of that regulatory fluff in there like the SOPs. So again, we have a table of contents, we have a process overview, and then here's where we start detailing all of the different steps. And one thing I really like about the playbook is once when we better understand your flows within the operation, we will also give you time frames on how long this playbook will take you to accomplish. So I feel like that is super powerful to better understand the labor involved and see how many people you might need or not need on your team to accommodate all of these playbooks. And again, we have an effectiveness criteria. And again, we end with a workflow diagram and a checklist. And then another example of an asset that you could receive within the roadmap. Again, all of these documents and all of these assets are at your choosing. So we actually supply a very, very large list, and we will help you navigate that list on any recommendations we see that you need for your operation. However, you will be able to pick and choose which of the documents you would like within your roadmap. So let's take a look at the packaging and labeling checklist. And this checklist is used at the intake of shipments or while you are shipping new products out to your downstream operations. And this is all really crucially important because the minute you accept this inventory, you are now responsible for it. So really, we need to have those safeguards in place during the intake process to ensure that you are intaking all compliant information. And that is what this checklist is for. We go over some need to know definitions. Here is the packaging requirements, and more specifically, the child-resistant packaging requirements. We then go into other additional label requirements such as information label, primary panel label, and the cannabinoid content requirements. Now, each state will be slightly different, and these packaging and labeling checklists are modified for that state regulations and what makes the most sense for that flow. But here's just an example of one of RMCC's packaging and labeling checklists that you can opt into for the roadmap within your launch kit. After we have completed all of those different steps within the launch kit, the next step is to have a closing presentation. And within that closing presentation, we will communicate any of your victories or anything that you excelled in. And then we'll also discuss any roadblocks or risks and best steps to move forward. Thank you for your interest in RMCC's Launch Kit. We hope to hear from you soon.